Up here in the old northern hemisphere, we are venturing into summer, and that pretty much means that my sock knitting mojo has completely tanked. I'm hoping to recharge my sock knitting mojo and maybe yours if you're finding yourself in the same rut with 8 summer-friendly sock knitting patterns. So if that sounds like just the ticket, grab a cup of something cozy or crack into something refreshing and let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the Wool Needles Hands Midweek Ramble. My name is Taylor and I will be your host. For today's video, I am on a journey to recharge my sock knitting mojo with what I think are going to be 8 super summer friendly or warm weather friendly sock knitting patterns. This was a suggestion left in the Wool Needles Hands tip line, and I'm telling you, this person was reading my mind. I was just thinking about it the other day that my sock knitting mojo has completely tanked, and I think it's because I tend to associate knitting socks with colder weather, cozier moments, cold feet, all of this. But honestly, I like to wear things on my feet inside the house all year round, and it would be really nice to have some cute summer, airy, warm weather socks to choose from. And so that is why I am so excited to share with you today's topic. And I thank the person, you know who you are, who left this suggestion in the tip line because it was very timely. Now, like most of these pattern rundown videos, actually all of these pattern rundown videos, I have created a Ravelry favorites bundle over on Ravelry. I will link to that in the description box. That bundle will feature all of the patterns I've mentioned here on this video, as well as some extra I might have thrown in that didn't make the cut for this video, but it's a great one-stop shop if you would like to find the patterns all in one place that I've mentioned in today's video. Now, when it comes to the way I wear socks in the summertime, I tend to just have them as little accessories to wear on my feet when I'm at home. We have hard floors and they're textured, and walking on them barefoot can do a number on the skin, on the bottom of your feet. If you live in an environment that is dry, you know what I'm talking about. It's like that whole like healthy feet lotion commercial with cracked heels. It can get really gross, but you know, to each their own. You do with it what you will, but I think that these are going to be really great sock options for warmer weather or summer months. All right, the first pair of socks I want to share with you are by Dawn Henderson, and they are called the Lynn Socks. I love these socks. They have a very cool Art Nouveau type vibe to them with the stitch pattern. If you look at them, there's really fun detail around the ankles here. There's a really nice, there's kind of like a fan ribbing motif going around the ankles that gives it like this like chandelier effect that I love. I love that twisted rib going down the front. Really nice texture going down the back of the heels, but other than that, it's a really nice, simple ankle sock. I think this is really pretty. It requires 200 to 400 yards for this particular pattern, and you need a size 1 and a size 2 needle, and I like that because that usually means that the cuff is knit on a smaller needle than the rest of the sock. I'm assuming here, I might be wrong, and I like that. I feel like the sock cuff ought to be knit on a smaller needle than the rest of the sock. Just my personal preference. I think they're lovely. I really love that scalloped edge. Very Art Nouveau. Kind of like Art Nouveau, like Art Deco, like blended together. I don't know, it's really pretty. So that is Lynn Socks by Dawn Henderson, and a bonus, it's a free pattern. Okay, this next pair of socks is a little bit more unconventional, but I think they're really great for summer because they are sandal or flip-flop friendly. They just have this vibe about them that's super casual. It would be really comfy to wear them around the house, and that's yoga socks. So there are lots of patterns on Ravelry for yoga socks. I've chosen these ones for this particular video today, and they are called the Elevation Yoga Socks by Morella Moments. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and they're just a really basic heelless, toeless sock. And the reason that they're like that is because they're intended to be worn while doing yoga. And when you're doing yoga, you need to have the balls of your feet and your heels available so they can stick to the yoga mat, allowing you to do various different yoga poses. I have several pairs of yoga socks myself, but they are all store-bought yoga socks, and I love them. But I think it would be really cool to knit a pair of my own yoga socks for doing yoga, which I like to do often, but also just for wearing around the house. And if I need to run out to do something in the yard, like water the plants, I can slip slip my sandals on and it's not awkward and, you know, sandal socks problems. I love the stitch pattern. It's a little something extra, but it's not too over the top. It's just a really nice kind of ribbed detail here. I feel like you could really find a nice cellulose-based or plant-based fiber blend if you want something really summer friendly, but you want to make sure you have at least a little bit of nylon in there or a little bit of wool in there to add some resiliency, to add some of that stretch that you need from those particular types of fibers, just so that it fits around your feet nicely. But I definitely think this is a great place to play with not only color, but also cellulose-based fibers. But I really love that. So that is the Elevation Yoga Socks. Yeah, super into that. I love a good pom-pom shorty sock. Little shorty socks that have pom-poms on the front or pom-poms coming up behind the ankle. I just love that look. It's super cute. And these socks actually don't call for a pom-pom, but I knit my own pair of these and I added a pom-pom and I really love them. So I wanted to share this with you here. Now, when you see them, you might think to yourself, oh no, that looks more like a cold weather slipper, but just bear with me and you might get where I'm coming from. That is the Simple House Slippers by Temple of Knit. Now, when you see these ones pop up on the screen, you're gonna see that they look very woolly and fuzzy and like they would be beautiful slippers to have for colder weather. But I argue that if you choose to use an alternative yarn, maybe something with a hemp merino blend, a linen merino blend, something that's got some silk in it with some wool, a cotton merino blend, you want to keep the wool component there. That's really important for resiliency. But if you want to add a little bit of something extra to make it a little bit more, I don't know, summer friendly, a nice plant-based fiber blend would be great for this. Now, the ones that I have here, and I'm actually wearing them on my feet. So here are my Simple House slippers, and you can see my little pom-pom right here. I knit these with a superwash merino yarn. Now, they are not, there's a couple things that I would change here because it's really hard for me to hold my foot up for that long. This portion of the sock right here needs to be more tightly knit. If I were to knit these again with the same yarn, I would knit this on a much smaller needle, and I might even go down a size. This portion of the sock is a little roomy, but it feels really good on my foot. They aren't too thick here, so you can see that they're kind of just like they flop over like little shorty socks. So they're gonna fit like a shorty sock, which kind of means that you need a little bit more reinforcement in this area of the foot. But I love wearing these in the warmer months. They're easy to throw on. They feel nice on my feet when I'm sitting and knitting or just doing something where I'm not doing a lot of walking around, because a lot of walking around and that agitation kind of just causes them to shift on your feet. But overall, I really love them. And I think that they're a really nice sock to have as a throw-on sock if you are, you know, in your house and you need something on your feet that you don't want to be too stifling. I think that even though they look like cold weather slippers, I think they would be a great pair of slippers to have even for the warmer months. And if you pop a pom-pom on there. Okay, this next pair of socks I love for the open and airiness of the lace pattern, and also because they're shorties. And I feel like open and airy lace and shorty socks is the perfect combination for a pair of summery socks. And that is the Dambisa Socks. This is a sock pattern by Noma and Delovu. It is only $5 on Ravelry, and it is a fantastic pair of socks. What really kind of caught my attention was the project page for this person right here. This is Kelly Kells. I loved her version of these socks. I loved the color that she used here, and I just think that they look fantastic. They scream warm weather with all those really nice eyelets. It's just so pretty. So this particular pattern calls for a fingering weight yarn. You're only using anywhere from 241 to 328 yards of yarn. It comes in 3 different sizes, 1 needle size throughout the whole sock. These actually look like they could pull me out of my sock knitting slump. I really love them. All right, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there aren't many knit socks that to me would be something I would wear with sneakers, but this particular pattern might just be the pair that changes that whole perspective for me. They show them worn with sneakers, and just the overall aesthetic vibe and design of these socks is adorable. These are the Sommer sneaker Socken. It's a German pattern. It is now available in English. They are by Tanya Steinbach, and they're so cute. So again, the Sommer sneaker Socken. It is a free pattern. It requires fingering weight yarn, only 241 230 to 328 yards. But this is another really great opportunity for playing with a plant-based fiber, maybe a merino cotton blend or merino linen blend, maybe a little rayon in there. But how cute are these? That little ruffle on the back, it's just so nice. Yes, I love that. So Summer Sneaker Socken by Tanya Steinbach. Now I don't think you can do a knitting pattern rundown about summer socks without mentioning some socks by Summer Lee. And now it's funny because her name is Summer. We're talking about summer socks. It's all just very appropriate. I have one pair of socks here out of her huge collection of really lovely socks that I think is perfect for this particular pattern rundown, and that is the Weekend Shorty socks. I love these because the design and the construction of these socks is like your basic shorty sock. It has a nice hardy ribbed ankle, and then the rest of the sock is just all stockinette, but she gives you really awesome ways to incorporate color here. I love this as a way to use up those little bits of yarn that you have left out of your fingering weight yarn stash. You can have a lot of fun with different colors. It doesn't have to match between the two socks. I just think these are an overall fantastic pair of shorty socks, and I would absolutely wear these with sneakers. They only require anywhere from 88 to 228 yards of yarn. It's a great way to use up your spare sock yarn, and she has these in a ton of sizes. So we have a toddler size, a kid size, a small, a medium, a large, and an extra large. 6 sizes for these socks, and I think that's fantastic. Weekend Shorty socks by Summer Lee. Love them. Okay, typically when I think of summer knits at all, I very rarely would ever even consider cables. But this particular sock pattern kind of flips the script on that a little bit. I really love these. These are the Summer Crush Shorties by Tracy Miller of the Grocery Girls. I love these socks. I love the way that she's wearing them in the photos here with these really lovely clogs, some cuffed skinny jeans, yellow socks. It's got the cables, so it's like a nod to classic knitwear, but it's summer. It's just, I love it. It's a whole vibe, and I'm here for it. And I feel like these would be a nice pair of socks to wear with more open shoes. Maybe a pair of Birkenstocks. I mean, that's a whole thing too. Maybe a cute pair of Crocs.
And he's wearing Crocs with socks. Sending it back to you in the studio.
She knit these in Mondim by Rich Rosaria. However, I think this is another really cool opportunity to maybe do a cotton merino blend. There's cables here. You need to keep the wool in the yarn, but you could add a little bit of a cotton blend in there, maybe a silk blend that would probably hold up with those cables. But because there are cables in here, I think that you might want to maintain as much wool as possible. But wool doesn't make something a deal breaker in terms of summer knitwear. Wool is fantastic at wicking moisture away from the skin and keeping you cool. As much as it insulates you, it can also help to kind of keep you cool when things get a little warmer. So don't shy away from wool just because you're knitting for the summer. Stick to something like a fine wool that tends to be a little easier to wear in the summer because it's not prickly, but these can definitely be knit in an all wool and still be a fantastic summer sock. So I'm loving these. So that is the Summer Crush Shorties by Tracy Miller. All right, guys, I'm wrapping up this video with a shameless plug. I know, I'm sorry, but I could not leave off this particular pattern when we're talking about really nice socks for summer. And that is a pattern by yours truly called the Cocktail Socks. This is my one and only sock pattern ever, and I love them. Now, I was considering these as a nice pair of socks to wear to a cocktail party in the winter when things are cooler and when you take your shoes off, you don't have that, you know, protection of your feet. However, I love these for summer socks because of how open they are. The open eyelet work all along the top and the bottom of the sock allows a lot of air circulation and keeps them from being too warm, so it's really great for wearing around the house. I knit these using Fiber for the People BFL DK, but you can knit these in any DK weight yarn. However, you can opt to knit these in a sport weight yarn, drop down 1 needle size if you want a more snug fitting sock. This particular pattern is a one size pattern with adjustable length. There's information in the pattern on how to adjust the length of this sock based on your foot measurements. And that way you can get a really nice fit on your feet. In terms of the circumference here, these are not intended to fit very snugly, so there's a lot of wiggle room in terms of circumference. If you wanted to increase the size of these socks as it relates to the circumference, one way that you could do that is go up a yarn weight and up a needle size, or you can just try going up 1 needle size and seeing if that affords you a little bit more room. But in terms of circumference, these are a one size sock with a lot of flexibility in the fabric. So capping off our list is a shameless plug. I'm not a knitwear designer. I don't have many patterns out there. So when I have an opportunity to share one with you, I take it. What can I say? I'm sorry, but I love them. They're really cute socks and you definitely should try them. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. I hope that from these socks you were able to find something that might inspire you to knit a pair of socks for summer. I think I'm starting to feel it, especially some of those sneaker socks. Like I said, I love a good pom-pom sock. I might knit myself another pair of cocktail socks, but I love the idea of a nice airy summer sock. So I don't know, I'm feeling something brewing in there. I'm starting to think that that sock knitting mojo might come back. We'll see on the next episode of the podcast if I happen to cast on a new pair of socks, but I need to do something because I would like to have a pair of socks on the go. As always, if you took value or enjoyed yourself at any point during today's video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe and click that bell icon so you can be notified anytime I upload new content here on the channel, which is every Wednesday and every Sunday. And until I see you again on Sunday, where I will be uploading a bonus ramble, happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever it is that you're doing. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.